They weren't going to win forever. And quite honestly, the Pistons probably needed this loss. The Pistons had their 3-game winning streak snapped by the Chicago Bulls last night. We'll talk about everything that happened within this game in today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. And make sure you check out our YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's the best way to support the podcast. We're on our road to 2,000 subscribers, and we are trying to show Locked On that we are the fastest and best growing fan base at the Locked On Network. So again, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. But the Detroit Pistons had their 3-game winning streak snapped against the Chicago Bulls last night by a score of 114-108. In this game, they were without Isaiah Stewart, who has been ruled out with a bone bruise to his knee. He's going to be reevaluated in a week. So we'll hear about him in a week from now. Hopefully, some good news. But they were also without Killian Hayes on a late scratch with that knee he took to the groin area of the game previously. Didn't sound like it was nothing too crazy, too serious that anyone should be really that worried about. But if it is, I'll be sure to update you guys and keep you guys updated on what's going on there. But yeah, the Pistons probably needed this loss, to be honest. They were definitely getting close and closer to, falling a little too far than people probably would like, or getting too close to falling in the lottery odds. OKC's only 2.5 games behind them right now, the third pick. And while the winning, I know I said screw the tank on the last podcast. And I've been saying, just enjoy Kay Cunningham. That also doesn't mean that I'm just actively rooting for wins. That means if Kay Cunningham happens to go crazy and guys happen to play well, and that leads to the Pistons getting some wins, then so be it. But guys didn't play well tonight or last night. And again, the Pistons needed a loss to stay in this top 3 and kind of keep their lead on the third pick. It was a nice competitive loss, so that's the kind of loss you'll take. But overall, I personally don't think that this was a very well played game by the Pistons. I think this was honestly a pretty poorly played game between both teams. I don't think either team played that well. DeMar Derozan started off slow, but he absolutely went crazy, man. He dropped 36 points in the Pistons. He's a different breed, dude. He hit like 4 back-to-back-to-back pull-up middies over the Pistons in the fourth quarter to just shut the door. He's something different, man. He's crazy. Zach LaVine dropped 25 and Nikola Vucevic dropped 21. So their big 3 was just a little too much for the Pistons. They really got it going. Vucevic scored 21 on just 11 shots. Zach LaVine got himself 11 free throws. DeMar DeRozan had himself 13 free throws. And the Pistons, until like the minute and a half mark in the fourth quarter, had 0 free throws in the entire fourth quarter. Meanwhile, the Bulls, I believe, had like 12 at that point. So the Pistons didn't get the best whistle in the fourth quarter, but they certainly didn't play their best. They went 7 minutes without scoring in that fourth quarter, and that's really what dug them into this loss. They were really controlling the game the majority of the time, and they were led by their star rookie Kay Cunningham. He had 22 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, a 9-15 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep. He got 2 free throw attempts, which is 2 more than we expect every night from now on. Anytime he does get any free throws, we just celebrate around here because it's just such a shocking thing to see the refs finally call a foul for him. But he did have this game. He did end this game with 6 turnovers, and the Pistons had 5 turnovers in like the first 4 minutes of the first quarter, and that kind of previewed how they were going to play throughout this game. They only had 11 the rest of the game, which again, only 11 is pretty is a decent amount through 3 quarters itself. But they tried to cut down a little bit, but they were just really careless with the basketball. Cade included a lot of careless passes, a lot of just bad outlet passes. Jeremy Grant had 2 outlet passes in the first quarter that were just like intercepted by the team. He just threw it straight to the defender. Cade got his pocket picked a few times going to the rim. He had a few bad kickouts. Just overall, it just wasn't a very good, wasn't very well executed game for the Detroit Pistons. And again, like I said, even though they were controlling and they were winning this game the majority of the time, it just never felt like that they were really playing that well anyway. So it is what it is. They'll take this loss. Again, like I said, they probably needed this loss for lottery purposes. Excuse me. But Something else that happened within this game, Marvin Bagley started for Isaiah Stewart in the middle. He ended the game with 10 points and 6 rebounds. He ended the game with a team high minus 19 on the floor. You could tell that the team was not used to playing with him in the starting lineup. That starting lineup was not used to playing with him. There was a lot of confusion in the half court sets, a lot of it getting adjusted to. We've talked about on the podcast that Corey Joseph himself really struggle. I feel like really struggles to feed Marvin on rolls and really get a pick and roll chemistry going there. I think Corey Joseph. I tweeted this out during the game. Honestly, Corey Joseph honestly has pretty poor vision for a veteran point guard. He just like doesn't make like the passes you think he'd be able to make, and they're not really tough passes. Just like the guys that are open, he doesn't really make them a lot. So overall, you could tell that Jeremy, Corey, Sadiq struggled playing with Marvin in the starting lineup, and maybe not struggle playing with, but just struggle getting accustomed to him being in the lineup and what he brings. That's different than Stu. Stu doesn't really, slip screens like that. Marvin likes to slip screens a lot. He doesn't really set the hard body screens, or at least try to sit there and try and set these screens. Stu at least tries to set them. He doesn't really. His problem, he doesn't roll. Marvin's problem is that he rolls too fast. So it definitely was something that they were trying to get accustomed to, and they just struggled to do that tonight. But overall, just team wide, not just the starting lineup, not just Marvin Bagley, not just Kate Cunningham with the 6 turnovers, the rest of the team. The whole team just really struggled to really play nice good basketball for the entire game. And there was a point in the third quarter, I even said, or no, in the second quarter with the bench lineup, it was like the bench was scoring and they kind of extended the lead to 8. And I tweeted this out during the game. I was like, I guess I'll take it, because the way they were scoring and the way it was happening was just like it was not good. Like it was like, okay, I guess I'll take the scores, but it's not really happening in a way that you'd like to see. Like it was just ugly basketball. The Bulls went like 4 minutes without scoring, so that helped too. But like it was just it wasn't a very attractive game, I guess I should say, from both ends. But either way, I come away thinking this. My biggest takeaway that I had after the game. I'm sorry, as just a basketball fan, was DeMar Derozan's freaking crazy. DeMar Derozan's a baller, a monster, and he should be right there in those MVP talks. The shots that he hit over the Pistons in the fourth quarter to close this game out were just ridiculous, like bad, bad man kind of stuff. So now, when we come back, we'll talk about some things within the game that we saw from the Pistons when we come back. But first, I have to tell you guys about one of our newer sponsors, and that is Athletic Greens. So I started taking Athletic Greens a few weeks ago because I wanted to feel a little bit healthier, get a little bit more energy, and again, just feel a little bit more healthier. So, what is this stuff? It's just one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens. You're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All of these things. And there's a few other things I'd like to tell you about AG1 too. It's lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy free, or gluten free, it helps all of it. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar. There's no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anythings, while still tasting good. And supports better sleep quality and recovery, I should say, supports mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing with the best things. AG1 uses the best of the best products based on the latest science with constant production iterations and third party testing. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. You're investing in an all in one nutritional insurance. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes, trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every single day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements, and look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NBA network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NBA network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance today. Athletic Greens. Again, head to athleticgreens.com/NBA network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance today. And then let me tell you about another one of our sponsors, BetOnline.net. It's that time of year again as college basketball tournament is finally upon us. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, BetOnline.net is the number one source for all your sports betting needs and info. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just basketball. They had football before the football season ended. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information. It includes live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. It goes all the way to NHL, goes all the way to UFC, and heck, when baseball, hopefully, if they get their act together, you can go to baseball too and have fun over there. Head to the website today and use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Again, head to the website today, betonline.net, or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action today. BetOnline, where the game starts. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you have not already, head to our YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. We are on our road to 2,000 subscribers. We are trying to show Locked On that we are the fastest and best growing fan base at the Locked On Network. So again, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. I'd really appreciate it. Best way to support the podcast. But yeah, again, the Detroit Pistons lost this game, had their 3-game winning streak snapped. Hold on, there's something on my mic that's kind of annoying me. My fault, everybody. But yeah, they had their 3-game winning streak snapped against the Chicago Bulls. Like I said, DeMar Derozan's a bad man, but there are some things within this game for the Detroit Pistons I kind of want to talk about. And one of them is like how I feel about Hamidou Diallo. It's just like a takeaway, not just from him within this game, because he played well this game, but it's just like a conversation that I wanted to have about Diallo. Hami is just like the hardest dude on this team to evaluate because when we said this on a few podcasts ago, and we saw him get like the most usage you'll ever have, and the utmost shot attempts you'll ever have when the entire team was dealing with COVID, and it was just him and Sadiq Bey in the lineup still. We saw him get all that usage, all those shots, and look relatively decent doing it. And every now and then, he's just such a ball of fire and just constant energy. He just scores with the most random and just weirdest ways. He'll score on a loose ball. He'll score just like on a ball that happens to be bouncing around. He'll be right next to it and get a dunk. He'll score on like a random inbounds pass that he just happens to steal, or a guy gets lazy and he just happens to pluck it from behind us. Like he scores in the most weirdest and random ways possible. And certain nights, that type of energy and that just ball of fire can completely swing a game. It can completely change the outcome of a game sometimes. Sometimes just all you need is that infusion of energy and physicality and athleticism. And some nights, like tonight, in his short minutes, he played 14 minutes because he had like I think they say he jammed his index finger. But like tonight, in his minutes, he made a difference because of that, because of his energy. However, this is why it's so hard to evaluate him, is that he's good at that stuff. That's when he's at his best, when he's able to just go out there and just wreak havoc. He's just pure chaos. Goes out there. There's no real no set plays or set offense for him to have to run. He just goes out there and just runs around and just acts crazy. And he's good at that. But when you get him in a structured offense and you get him in some structure, he just struggles mightily with structure. And then you add on to the fact that he's not very good defensively. Uh, every now and then he'll show you like some chops one-on-one defense, staying in front of a guy and contesting a guy. A lot of guys are able to do that. There are bad defenders that usually, they're probably at their best when they just have to stay in front of their guy and in one possession try to defend whatever. But off ball, he's horrific. Coming around screens are horrific. Rotations horrific. So overall, just defensively, he's really bad. And then offensively, like I said, when he's just able to contribute with just chaos and energy, he looks really good. But when you play against a team that forces you into the half court and you have to run structured offense and you have to run plays, whatever, he just doesn't fit into that. He doesn't play well in that because he thrives off chaos. He thrives off just being able to freelance. And one of his biggest issues is the fact that he has really bad tunnel vision. If he gets the ball in the half court, he's looking to score. He's looking to drive to the rim, whether a guy's open, whether he's getting double teamed at the rim. And sometimes, and we kind of had this conversation before Hamidou Diallo got here last year with Josh Jackson, and it's that Josh Jackson kind of did this too. Josh Jackson took bad shots at the rim, but it's because he had confidence that he would be able to, with his athleticism, to finish anyways. Hamidou Diallo is better than Josh at that because Hamidou Diallo is likely the best athlete anytime he touches the floor. So he's able to get away with it sometimes, but when he's not able to get away with it, it just actively hurts your team, and he can't shoot. It's just he's such a hard guy to evaluate. That's basically what I'm getting through here. When you watch him, it's like I love his energy. You love the putback dunks. You love the random steals that turn into dunks. You love the constant hustle on the offensive glass and just nonstop energy. You love it. But when you go against a good team, they force you in that structured offense, and you have to kind of make good reads. You can't just bulldoze the rim and just throw some stuff up. When you have to do that stuff, he struggles mightily with that. And I think that's why when Frank Jackson gets back, I think that's why you'll see Isaiah Livers takes Hamidou Diallo's minutes. Because, excuse me, I'm sorry. I think where Hamidou Diallo's finding himself at in his NBA career now, then this is not where I'm not saying this is where he's going to end up. I just think this is where he's at right now. I think Diallo's at a point where he's probably not someone you want as a mainstay in your rotation. I think he's the kind of guy that when your team's lacking energy and you think he can flip the script and you need someone to flip the script, then you throw him in the game and he'll absolutely do that. He'll change the energy in the game. He'll be pure chaos. He'll go crazy. He'll lose it. But if you're talking about like a regular rotation of guys who are going to be able to run the offense and play within structure and know where to be, know how to play, make the right passes, all that kind of stuff, it's just hard for me to envision Hamidou Diallo being that kind of mainstay in the rotation. Well, especially over a guy like Frank Jackson, simply because Frank Jackson is a sniper, and the Pistons need that, and they need a score off the bench. They need a person who provides spacing. Now they also need athleticism. You obviously would prefer to have both of those things, but Isaiah Livers has shown you in his minutes that he's a great connector of the offense, and he just knows where to be. He's really good defensively already for a rookie. He only had 2 points tonight, but his impact was felt. He had really good defensive stops on DeMar Derozan. It's just when he's playing, the offense looks better. It looks more, maybe not so much better. Maybe I shouldn't say better because tonight Hamidou Diallo did have a good game, and a lot of it coming off the bench. The reason why the bench played so well was because Diallo was just losing it. He was just pure chaos out there. So I won't say this looks better, but it's just hard to run a structured offense with Hami because that's not him. He can't thrive in that because he's not a good shooter. Most of the time he doesn't know where to be at the right times, and sometimes he doesn't know the right pass to make, and he gets tunnel vision. So all those things combined with not being a good shooter, not knowing where to be, not being able to make the right pass, all those kind of things, it really sabotages your offense. And you saw that before this game, the last few games before he was hurt, the offense was struggling with him on the floor because teams were either one just not guarding him, or when he got the ball, they knew he wasn't passing it, and the offense just wasn't running as smooth. It just wasn't running like that. You saw, and we talked about this on the podcast I believe on Monday, the offense with Killian Kelly and Isaiah Livers on the floor, the ball was just moving side to side, right pass after right pass, right read after right read, correct spacing all over the place, and that's the way you want your offense to be. So it's I get why Dwayne Casey kind of like flip flops with Hami because it's tough. It's tough to evaluate him. If he could find a way to like kind of, it's kind of like what they've said about Russell Westbrook throughout his career, even though I think that's a different, what they say, I feel like it's a different thing with Russ. But what people be saying is that if you can just pull it in, if you can just hold it in, some of that chaos, you can kind of like put that down and hold it down a little bit and play within structure, get a little bit smarter. Then Hamidou Diallo can be a really good guy off your bench. But right now he's not that. So I expect that Dwayne Casey's probably going to juggle him and Hami, or not Hami, juggle Hami and Frank Jackson a lot when Frank gets back healthy. I'm assuming Frank's going to take Bronny Magruder's minutes. So I'm assuming that he's going to juggle between those guys along with Livers as well. I don't think any of those guys will probably be mainstay in the rotations, even though I believe Livers probably should be. I think he's going to juggle between those guys because it's just a hard situation to be in because of nights like this. Hamidou Diallo is able to, in just 12 minutes, he's able to give you like 13 points. He played 14 minutes tonight and was able to give you 10 points and 5 of 8 shooting. And all of it literally was just all pure chaos. So, like, again, there's nights where it works. It works really well, and he just takes over a game in his minutes because of how energetic he is. And then there's other times where it just doesn't. He's not able to do that, and in the half court offense struggles because of it, because of his struggles. And then defensively, he's just not that good. So, this this wasn't supposed to be about like trying to drag Hami down. I really like Hami. I really like what he's brought. I still like the trade they made for him. And I still think he has another element to improve. But I'm just saying, like, as someone who watches the team every day and tries to evaluate these players, he's like the hardest one to, because it's like the energy and chaos. Like he can just flip a game like that. But man, God, his half court instincts are just bad. His defense is bad. When that stuff's not working, like what can he do? He's not really helping the team. And then he'll have like 4 plays when it's not helping, and then all of a sudden he gets that steal and gets a windmill dunk, and then all of a sudden gets a putback dunk and back-to-back plays. You're like, okay, I can see it. It's a roller coaster with Hammy. It's really a roller coaster, and that's probably how teams feel guarding him out there. It's like a roller coaster out there. But yeah, we'll watch how it goes when Frank Jackson gets back healthy. I'm interested to see what Dwayne Casey does, because it's definitely Isaiah Livers has made his case to be getting minutes, and Hamidou Diallo is not going to want to just lose his minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how Dwayne Casey juggles these guys. Basically, is what I'm saying. Let me know what you guys think down below. I know I had a few of you guys saying, "Oh, I'm crazy for this Hamidou Diallo take." I had a few of you guys agreeing with me on Twitter. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys feel. If you guys see where I'm coming from, you guys agree with what I'm saying, if you guys disagree, etc. Let me know in the comment section down below or over at Twitter at Kooky Hill. But when we come back, we'll finish off our thoughts on last night's loss to the Chicago Bulls. But first, I'd like to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless and seemingly intimidating questioning like is your Odyssey and LX? And wait while the person behind the computer orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket on your phone. You save time and money when you're using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the same parts from your chain store or car dealership? For example, a Honda Odyssey fuel pump is $353 from a chain store, only $216 from Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business serving doing it yourselves for over 20 years. Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every customer, and they have everything you could possibly imagine, from brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even a new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto part needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us box so you know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you have not already, head to our YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the podcast. We're on our road to 2,000 subscribers, and we are trying to show Locked On that we are the fastest and best growing fan base at the Locked On Network. So again, head to the Locked On Pistons YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So in some podcast news, some ways to hype up our podcast and our fan base here, we got shouted out by Cade's trainer, Ashton. We've talked about Ashton a few times on the podcast. I absolutely love how Cade's camp, and Ashton specifically, he's extremely active in Pistons Twitter, um, and interacts with the community a hell of a lot more than any other player I feel like I've ever seen camp. I've never seen a player's camp interact with fans like Cade's does. And even Cade, I saw there was a video of Cade like stopping, driving home from a game and stopping, rolling down his window and signing some autographs. Like Cade just gets it. The Pistons fans should be happy that they have a guy like this who just gets it and loves the community and wants to support the community and wants to interact with the community. And the fact that he has a guy in his camp, Aston, which I believe Aston is his cousin. I believe you guys told me. He's not just his trainer, he's also his cousin. A guy like Aston just interacting with the community all the time, hyping them up, hyping up the team, making the fans feel a part of everything, and really showing that not only does Cade, but his camp really messes with Detroit and messes with the community. I've told you guys this many times, man. I absolutely love that. The Pistons got lucky with that, because not a lot of guys, you don't see that a lot of times. I don't think you ever see that. If you guys can tell me another person that you've seen this kind of thing with, you gotta let me know. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of thing happen. And the Pistons fan base desperately needs this. The Pistons community desperately needed this. Honestly, I feel like I've heard from fans, I've heard from you guys that the LCA's actually been getting more and more impact over the last few weeks. And I wouldn't doubt that Cade's company, or not company, his camp, including Aston on Twitter, trying to hype up the team and hype up the community and make it look cool, make it cool again, basically, be a Pistons fan. I wouldn't be shocked if that had a lot to do with why you guys are saying that LCA is looking more and more packed game after game. So Definitely, I love their camp. I love Cade Cunningham and his whole crew. They're great for Detroit. I got a little sidetracked there. Basically, what I was trying to tell you guys though is that he shouted us out on Twitter last night or yesterday. He basically said, he listens to the podcast every day. So, Aston, if you're listening to the podcast, man, what's up, dog? You gotta come on the podcast, be a guest one day. You feel me? One of these times. I appreciate you listening all the time. He says, "Keep grinding, fellas. I really enjoyed your guys' podcast." So I thought that was pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool for all of us, not just me, but for you guys as well. For hyping up the podcast, listening to the podcast, getting it out there to where everyone hears about it and knows to listen to it. So I'm pretty happy. I'm happy to hear that kind of thing. I'll definitely take some credit, but a lot of it has to go to you guys too. So thank you guys all who listen every single day and spread the word about the podcast and all that. So I thought that was really cool news that I wanted to share with you guys who don't. I know a lot of my fan base. Uh, I think like over 70% is not on Twitter, so you guys don't know about this stuff that happens. So I just thought that was something really cool that we got shouted out by Cade's camp. So that's really cool. Uh, but final takeaways from the Pistons loss. Uh, it's just a ugly game for the Pistons. You got some minutes from Saban Lee. Saban Lee continues to show. He had 10 points, but like I've it's like 10 point. A lot of them were off backdoor cuts from Kelly Olynyk, which is not like you just don't count them or something. But you still see the issues with Saban Lee and why I think he's still stuck in between that. I'm too athletic for the G League, but not good enough player for the NBA. He's too predictable. He's not that good at anything. Like he's a good driver. I'll give him that. He's able to get to the rim, but he's not a great finisher. He's not athletic enough over everybody else on the court like he is in the G League. In the G League, he's just a freak athlete compared to everybody else. At the NBA, he's just a good athlete. And when you lack the skills that he does, it kind of makes it hard. And he also he doesn't make the right passes a lot of times. Isaiah Livers was open for three a lot. I don't want to make this seem like I'm dragging Saban Lee. He had a good night. He had 10 points in his first action like weeks. So it was good to see that from him. But I think you also saw why the Pistons missed Killian in this second unit and the things that Saban needs to work on. Maybe that's how I should have worded it. What Saban needs to work on. He needs to work on his outside shot. He needs to work on his IQ. And he needs to work on his overall skill level because at the NBA level, he's not that crazy of an athlete where he's just way better than everybody else like he is in the G League and is able to just use that over everybody else. He needs to learn learn and develop things outside of that because he's not going to be able to just rely on that if he wants to be in the NBA. But even still, I would rather see him on the floor than Corey Joseph because at least you're trying to develop somebody. Corey Joseph's just out there to be out there. Outside of that, there's nothing else I really talk about from this game. Not nothing really. We got some light skin war. Kay Cunningham and Zach LaVine got into it. You hate to see it. As a member of the light skin community, man, you hate to see that kind of thing. You don't want to see us going against each other. You feel me? But all joking aside, though, it was definitely cool to see because right after the guys started talking trash to each other in the second quarter, I believe Cade scored like 5 straight buckets after that. Like Cade was just going berserk after that. So it was good to see. Zach LaVine ended up getting the last laugh though. And Zach LaVine, final thoughts. This is not Pistons related, but he's playing through a knee injury. They need to sit him out because on defense it's noticeable. He can't move. So I don't know why he's playing through it right now. I know they're struggling. Maybe that's why, but you think that they would probably want him to sit out and rest up and get ready for the playoffs once everyone's healthy. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today, man, on today's podcast. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Best way to support the podcast on our road to 2,000 subscribers. Trying to show Locked On that we are the fastest and best growing fan base at the Locked On Network. Make sure you guys are making Locked On NBA your second listen of every single day. Locked On experts covering the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday in less than 30 minutes. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. The 3-game winning streak was fun while it lasted. We had to lose at some point. You guys probably wanted a loss. Pistons needed a loss if they want to stay top 3. So not too bad of a loss. They only lost by 6 points competitive. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody. Go Pistons and stay safe.